Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Chassidus in the Morning, 15 minutes, so we can change our lives. Lessons in L'Kutei Torah, learning the Maimer about why the Torah is given Har Sinai in connection with Shavuos. Today, we're going to finish off. So, basically, we were saying that the first question was, why was the Torah given Har Sinai B'chlal? Not in the other mountains, but all other mountains wanted it. And we answered it's because Har Sinai was small, it was humble. It was, we used the lashon of like, weak. And that's why the Torah is given. And we brought all these psukim to prove that specifically being all those, being low and humble and weak and making stuff like dust and like the dirt, everyone can trample over you. And then you see the Torah. So Rabbi Weiss, if that's the case, and that's why the Torah is given Har Sinai. So the question is, well, why is, if the Torah is given because of the humility and the humbleness, so why was the Torah given on a mountain before? It should have been not on a mountain. It can be on a valley, on the desert, on the floor, on a valley. Why on a mountain? So we answered because ultimately you need to be a mountain. You need to have the mountain in check, like we brought down from the Mitzvah 164th. Should have yeshus that comes from the Gemara, and Mitzvah explained it's like the kernel or the chaff. You need to have this chaff, this thing that protects it from the winds, meaning from the negative thoughts and things that pull us away. So we have to have that self-esteem. We got to push ourselves to do the right thing. But ultimately, we have to have so we have to have this ego, healthy self-esteem, but it has to be in check. And this is sort of what we've been talking about. That was the first answer. We gave a second answer. That it's another much deeper way of looking at it. It's like what it says in Parak Lamed Daled of Tanya, that even though we have to all be simcha, you're going to say, what about how can we be simcha? If I know I'm holding my nefesh Bahamas. So you have simcha mitzad the nefesh l'kis. The nefesh l'kis is happy because of the fact we have the ability to connect to Hashem, and that's the happiest thing alive. And the sadness is from where on the situation of nefesh Bahamas. I can have those two opposite emotions at the same time. And then we added on this idea that it's that Vaisifu, we said the Yosva Novim B'Hashem Simcha, and the humble ones will gather in Hashem Simcha. Now, seemingly, normally being happy is because we're proud and we're happy and we're all big. And what I say, and here we're saying the humble ones. Why? So he said that specifically because this is talking about by inside the nefesh l'kis. The nefesh l'kis is happiness. It comes from connecting to Hashem, and that humility is not that I'm nobody, but I'm connecting to Hashem. Then we said that's why we should also have the Yetzer Hara. Yagir is Yetzer Tov al Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Tov should aim Yetzer Hara, meaning we should look at the negative and say this is not good, but this is like how am I? This is how we should say it. How am I doing something like that? It's to pass. It's not befitting of me, a chassid of the Rebbe, to do such things. And that's how you have to speak to Nefesh Bahamas. That's how you speak to yourself. I'm going to finish this off. The Yosef Simcha, yeah. Or Masha calls when this that it says, the more you look how low you are, the more disgusted you be in your eyes. And so really saying that you can look at yourself, and this is also a very important point. When you look at yourself and you see all the problems, you say, look how many problems I have. Look how bad I am in what I'm doing. So we have to recognize you're not saying I am bad. I'm doing bad actions. My nefesh Bahamas has got the problem, but I have a nefesh l'kis. My nefesh l'kis is beautiful and it's pristine and it's clean and it's like a brand new dress that you got from the store that looks like $1 million, and I have that all the time, and I can always connect. I can always put it on, so to speak. I can always connect with that, and it's a choice I want to make. And so the more you recognize that you're not performing where you should, the more you can appreciate when you do perform when you should. And that's what it means. That is specifically the humble ones. Yeah. Last 2 pages. Yeah. Yard Sinai al Minister. We said this yesterday. This is why it's called Har Sinai, because it calls Sinai from the word Sinai, hatred on the evil characteristic. Something that we do that it's not good, we can sit there, this is who I am. Or we can say, like we're saying here, you can say, no, this is not who I am. I don't want to be like this. And I hate this. And this should be changed. And I should work on this. This is called, in Lashach said, this is meriras, bitterness. Not atzlus, depression, but bitterness. Depression causes you to not move anywhere and continue doing the same mistake. Bitterness causes you to change. It's like, I don't know if I said this before. Yeah, but if you read enough letters of the Rebbe, I'm not a big bucky in the Rebbe's letters, but one thing that I noticed, the Rebbe constantly says, how do you know if something is coming from the Nefesh of Bahamas, the Nefesh of Lakis, the Yitzhahar, the Yitzhahar? How do you know it's coming from the right place in you? The simple question you can ask yourself, and this is an idea that can change your life, and it's such a simple vart. The question you ask yourself, with whatever thought it is, where is it leading me? If it's leading me to do something positive and something good and something helpful for myself, it's coming from Yitzhahar Tov. If it's leading me to something not good, it could be the most honest and truthful thing that exists. It could be me being honest with myself the way I should be. It could be that it's telling me that I'm not sneers. It's telling me I'm not saying brachos, I'm not lighting candles on time, and it's pashut awesome. What I'm doing is awesome. And I'm calling myself out on it. But the question you're going to ask yourself, when you have that thought, where is it going to lead me? Is this going to help me do another mitzvah now? And if it isn't, it's coming from the wrong place. We shouldn't listen to it. Even though it's true, but it's not coming from the right place. Then what's the point? It's not there to help you. Valderech, like it says, that yeah, we should get the Yitzhahara, Yitzhah Tov, to get anger, to cause anger the Yitzhahara. That to be able to do that, it's about to appreciate the where we have something special to give and what we're good. And see, I hate when I do the wrong thing. Why? Why do you hate it? Not because it shows how bad I am, but because I could be so much better. I don't want to settle myself for such second best. And this reg is also an elevating. This is also a feeling of supremacy of the Yitzhara, like we're saying. Yeah, it gives in. This is what we're saying. That because in order to be able to do this, you have to appreciate that you have something worthy of being able to have this fire within you. Now, he ends off. The main bittul is to have iskafia. The main pride, this is how I translate it. However, specifically, this type of pride in serving Hashem and overcoming the evil inclination is the main and selfless dedication to Hashem. That the ultimate is you give yourself bittul, is iskafia, is you follow orders and you follow along, and this is what you're doing. But this is the second answer we gave. The first answer to why on a mountain, Dafka? One of the reasons is because you have to be a mountain. If you're not a mountain, you're never going to achieve anything. But the second answer we gave is that you have to have this level of strength of the mountain, and even though you'll see in yourself things are not so good, but you'll have the mountain is coming from Nefesh Elokis. The first level, just we have to be a mountain b'chlal. The second level, we have to be a mountain of Nefesh Elokis, and I have to mevatel the Nefesh Bahamas. He has a beautiful footnote of here I wanted to read. He says on page 9, if anyone has the copies. So he says on Shavuos in 1950, in Teresh Menachem, volume 1, page 88 to 90, the Rebbe brought the Frierdiker as a maimon on this pasuk, V'yasa Navim b'Hashem Simcha, and gathered that the humble ones will increase their joy in Hashem. This is what the Rebbe explains. Listen to this beautiful, beautiful verse. And explain that in short. A humble person is someone who is very strong in his opinions, and he does everything with a great conviction. The fact that he is humble isn't because he thinks he's nothing. Rather, he knows his own capabilities and strengths and knows that they are very important. But since he recognizes the truth that everything that he has is only from Hashem and what he inherited from his forefathers, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, he doesn't attribute any greatness to himself. Therefore, he doesn't feel himself. The Rebbe is saying, it's not that you don't know how good you are and what you have. You know it all, but you just don't give yourself all the credit. And this is what it's meant to be like. This is the bit we're talking about. But it's not, I'm a nobody. I'm the greatest person to ever live. But it's not my doing. It's like it says about the Chassidim. We say this in this brings down Hayom Yom in the Sefer Shuvah. when it goes through all the levels of tshuva, one thing it talks about being anav. Tamim maybe tamti and being tamim, being sincere. It was like Chassidim would hide. The Chassidim in the time of the Alter Rebbe in those days, they would hide a lot of what they did because they didn't want people to give them credit. I mean, they realized that they were gifted with this. That is gifts. It's like a person that is gifted to be able to sit there and learn for hours. So you're gonna come and say, "Oh, look how good this guy is. He can learn for hours. Look how good she is. It's amazing." But it's not. They didn't work on themselves to get there. They're just naturally talented in that way. So it was inappropriate to get the credit for it. So that's what they'll try to hide. That's what we're saying. It's not that you don't have any convictions and you're just a pushover. You're very strong in the conviction. You know exactly what you want. You know exactly what's right, and you're forceful with it. The little kunz, the trick is that you realize that it's not yours. And everyone has these talents. We have to recognize the talents. We have to see what they are. And we have to really cook in it. But together with that, we have to recognize that it's not necessarily just our doing, and it's been given to us as a gift. However, the fact that he doesn't feel himself isn't because he puts himself down, but because he totally puts himself aside, since he recognizes the truth that it is not from his own effort and accomplishment. It's not that he doesn't feel himself at all, but he's recognized it's not all him. Everything that he's doing, it's his, but he's not from his own work as much as it was given to him as his gift. This type of selflessness and humility that comes from recognizing the truth is what allows him to experience the joy of the godly soul. And with this, you can experience the joy of an nefesh kiss. Because if it's constantly all about you and like, oh, look how good I am, look what I've accomplished and what I've done, so then your nefesh kiss doesn't really come in. It's all nefesh bahamas, and he's not happy this way. He's never fully satisfied. The true happiness is nefesh kiss. I'm so lucky that I get to connect with nefesh kiss. I'm so lucky to do mitzvah. I'm so lucky that I have this talent. I'm I can speak to people. I'm talented. I'm a good listener. I'm a good friend, that I can get up on time. I have a talent. I have talent to go to bed on time. I have talent to eat healthy. I have talent to do good at my job. I have talent to make friends. I have talent to have a good family. I'm gifted that I have a family. These are all things that we recognize that it doesn't get your ego in the way, and that helps you connect with the nefesh kiss. The Rebbe ends off that the same idea applies to a chassid and Rebbe. A chassid needs to know, and this is a very, very powerful message. It's all of us. A chassid needs to know that the Rebbe has given him power and capability to fulfill his shlichus. We have to recognize that we are chassidim of the Rebbe, and the Rebbe has a mission for us, a specific mission. And we have to recognize this. And not just we have a mission, we have the ability to accomplish that mission. And as long as he knows that it is not his power and accomplishments, but he's just using what was given to him, then through his selflessness that comes from recognizing the truth, the chassid will have the strength to accomplish whatever the Rebbe wants from him, regardless of any opposition from his own animal soul or someone else's animal soul, since he's just doing the Rebbe's power. And the Rebbe is saying that if you recognize that I have a shlichus, the first thing we need to do is recognize the Rebbe has a shlichus for you. And the second thing we need to recognize that the Rebbe has a shlichus for us, it means we can accomplish it. We just got to recognize that we can accomplish it. And it's not coming from us. We have the Rebbe's ability. It's like I said, like the story of Rabbi Groner from Australia over Shalom, that the Rebbe asked him to do something. And he did, and he worked with all his might to do it, and he wasn't able to accomplish. So he wrote back to the Rebbe. I wasn't able to. I'm really sorry. I put in everything I could, and just wasn't able to be successful in this mission. And I know I grew in a little bit. I grew up in Australia, Melbourne, and he's a powerhouse. So if he tried, it means he tried. He wasn't a stomach guy. So the Rebbe asked him, I don't know how the whole conversation was. It feels like in Yechidus or something, because in Australia and America, pretty fine, especially in those days. But the Rebbe asked me, he said, if I was there, would I be able to achieve it? So he said, yeah, the Rebbe can achieve it for sure. The Rebbe said, if that's the case, then now you can go and achieve it. And I think this is exactly what the Rebbe was saying. With your own koiches, with your own nefesh bahamas, you're limited and maybe you can't do it. But you have to realize that what is the true bittul we're talking about? You have to recognize you're a mountain, that I am a shliach of the Rebbe. That's my mountain. I'm a shliach of the Rebbe. And what does the Rebbe have? He has a mission for me to accomplish. And I have this mission, and I'm going to accomplish it. And nothing's going to get in the way with it. Even though my nefesh bahamas say, you are going to accomplish, you're a shliach of the Rebbe? Who do you think you are? You know what you did? No, you did yesterday. You know how you acted, and you know how you spoke to that person. You know how you did whatever it is that we say to ourselves. They're saying, yeah, I'm a mountain. I'm a shliach. What do I have to achieve? I don't know. There has something for me to achieve, and I'm going to. And if we know, then go achieve it. And if we don't know, live our lives like with everything's a mission. I'm trying to fulfill that mission, and you push yourself, and you go. And with that, you'll achieve greatness. And this, my friends, is the end of the Maimon. There's a little bit of a summary over here, so we'll just read it out, and then we'll finish up. Question 1: why was the Torah given specifically on the Har Sinai as opposed to other mountains? By now, I think we're ingrained in our souls. We should already know the answer. Because Mount Sinai was the lowest and most humble of all the mountains. And to receive the Torah, one needs humility. So then the second question comes, if the ego is a contradiction to receiving the Torah, and the tallness of the mountain represents ego, then why was the Torah given on a mountain, not in a plain or a valley? The first answer is because some ego is needed in order that a person should have the motivation to push himself forward in learning Torah and coming close to Hashem. He needs to feel that he wants to come close and have a yearning to progress spiritually. However, he needs to keep that small amount of ego in check so that he shouldn't think he's better than others. His mountain of yearning for closer to Hashem needs to be small, that he not think his greatness makes him more important than others. It's just a gift from Hashem. And the second answer we gave, because the idea of the Torah is to bring out the pride and power of the mountain of the godly soul and how it overpowers and transforms the animal soul. However, even this holy pride needs to be small. So we have to have the mountain, which is the pride of the Nefesh Elikis over the Nefesh Bahamis, but it has to be a small mountain, a small pride. Since the godly soul's pride is only in making Hashem happy, not for itself. Thus, if someone feels his own ego too much, he can know it's not the pride of the godly soul. And we have to recognize this. And thank you very much for joining, everybody. Everyone should have an amazing Shavuos, an uplifting Shavuos. We should all become mountains and recognize our mountain. It should be a nice mountain, just enough to be able to help us achieve greatness that we all can achieve. And we should, thank you very much for joining. Have a great Shavuos.